It says we're live. Hello, 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 everyone out there on YouTube. It is Brad with the Big Family Homestead, and today I got to tell you what, guys. I have absolutely got a bee in my bonnet, and we are here with the Homestead Mama, Melissa, and she's going to tell you guys some stuff about a situation that's happening in the organic farming world, and it should tick you off. You should be irritated. And we're going to have some links so that you guys can go ahead and get involved and hopefully stop this from happening. How are you today, Melissa?
I am great. Thank you for having me on.
Yes, ma'am. I don't claim to be an expert on this subject because I just learned about it listening to you. And so I'm going to go ahead and let you do the drive, and I'll jump in when I have questions. Also, we do have a live chat, guys, and I will try my best to mark down questions so that they can be answered as well. But go ahead and take us from the beginning.
Okay. So Azure Standard is the largest independent distributor of organic foods in the nation. They've reached a plateau, more or less, where they are able to supply people all around the country with organic foods. Basically, it's a co-op type setup. You order with others, and once a month, a truck will be delivered, and you can take your produce or whatever goods you've ordered off the truck. They work with a lot of small businesses. Very, very good promoter of small businesses. I myself have products in Azure. So they have a system that you have to jump through, basically some hoops, to prove that your products are quality or organic or all natural. Then from there, they're able to put it on a website. They also have a huge catalog. A lot of people that have children that cannot have things such like gluten allergies or can't eat wheat, a lot of people that want to avoid the chemicals in the food supply order from Azure. Several people, almost everybody I know, I mean, I can literally name maybe a handful of people that don't order from them. They give small businesses like the wheat growers out in Montana that don't spray the Roundup on their crops. They give them a job. The people that, like I said, need to have an alternative to wheat for their kids that have specific grains that they want, like spelt or barley or just the more uncommon foods. They have all that. So again, they're the largest independent distributor of organic foods across the nation, and they've gotten to a point where they're really giving mainstream grocery some competition. So now the county says that they have this noxious weed on their property, and that they have to get rid of this weed. And it's and be honest with you, I talked to a girl, my vendor relations girl at Azure today, and the weed is actually debatable. At one point in time, it was thought to be milk thistle. Then it was Canada thistle, dandelion, marigold. And she said she doesn't even know what the weed is at this point. Isn't that pathetic? So they're thinking about taking this 2,000-acre organic farm that also works with other small businesses that do natural and organic products and covering this place with Roundup to get rid of a weed. Supposedly, they want you to think this is about a weed. What it really is about is that this company has grown. They have some of the most ethical standards I've ever seen. They give Sherman County, the county where they want to spray, over a $6 million a year employment. They shell out $6 million to keep people of that county employed to the tune of $6 million. So this is just ridiculous. They're being attacked because they're giving mainstream grocery a run for its money. But they're saying it's about a weed. And again, the weed has been debatable. It's been back and forth. First it was thistle, then it was morning glory, then it was dandelion. And the girl at Azure said, I don't even really know what the weed is. So isn't that pathetic?
Well, it is pathetic. And let me see if I can just kind of recap. You've got this organic farm that's been doing a great job, and they're providing customers who really want their products with a high quality product. And now there are farms around them, I'm assuming, that use Roundup, on their fields, and their concern is this weed, mystery weed, is going to get into their crop, because I don't understand why anybody would care if I wanted to grow whatever I wanted to grow, period.
Honestly, I haven't even heard that side of it. that there were other farmers concerned. If there is, I mean, I haven't heard that side of it. All I've heard is that they're being told that this weed on their property has to be gotten rid of, and the only way to get rid of it would be by the county spraying the 2,000-acre organic farm with Roundup, which of course will cause them to, excuse me, lose their organic certification. It takes 7 years to go into building your soil back up, so they would have to wait 7 years. Of course, they would be put out of business, and all the mom and pop businesses that they give business to, such as my business, will go out, such as all those wheat growers in Montana that don't spray with Roundup because they're doing you a service because they know you want something that's not sprayed, or the organic farmers that grow whatever. It could be apples, peaches, but it's a source for people to connect all over the nation, from small farms to the customer. And to spray this farm, this 2,000 acres farm with Roundup, will put them out because they'll lose their organic certification and they will not be able to sustain. They'll go out of business. So, I mean, it's absolutely absurd. It's unconstitutional. The county doesn't even have the legal right to do this. This is not a form of, I mean, who gave the county the right to be groundskeeper here? This is new. This is insane. It's not normal.
Yeah, and I'm reading some of the comments over here on the side, guys, and I'm going to mention this several times throughout the chat we're going to have, because I don't want people to I want to make sure, rather, that people have the right place to go to make your complaint be heard. Send, you know, and so the thing is this, guys, we're doing this to try to mobilize the troops. I'm about sick to death of government overreach in my life, and this is effectively going to put those people out of business, and not just them. It's going to have a ripple effect across, well, the whole organic scene. And then you got to think about it like this too: when a standard is set, then it can be repeated. And the problem,
Exactly,
guys, is that let's just say that, oh, and this is completely me thinking out there. You can call me conspiracy theory Brad or whatever you want to call me, but I know when it comes to money, conspiracies are not, it's all done out in the open. You've got a bunch of farmers. Let's just say there's a bunch of farmers that don't like that this organic thing is taken off. So that hits their bottom line. And I have nothing against farmers. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that when government gets involved to try to regulate who the winners and losers are in any business, we get screwed.
amen. Can I read you something, Brad?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, because this actually comes down to freedom of food choice, this is not even about just the property. It's about the property, but it affects the options that you are going to have for your food. So basically, you're not going to have the same options. You're only going to have what's at the store. And this is by Thomas Jefferson. If the people let the government decide what foods they eat and what medicines they take, their bodies will soon be as a sorry state as the souls of those who live under tyranny. Thomas Jefferson. So it is equivalent, and it is tyranny, and it's completely absurd. They can't even decide on what the weed is. So it's ridiculous. It's been back and forth, back and forth.
Well, and for the folks that are asking questions, what state is Azure Standard in?
They are in Sherman County, Oregon. And let me just give you an idea of how petty this has become. There has been complaints by the people in that county, supposedly, that they haven't been a good member of the community, or they.
$6 million in business is not a good member in the community.
Amen. And they also pay extra taxes because part of their farm is not considered farm exempt. So not only do they pay normal taxes, they actually go over and above to the tune of about $25,000 a year extra taxes. So they have their normal taxes that they have to pay, and then they have an extra tax that they have to pay. So it gets to the point, and you can go on and listen to the update by David Selzer. He is the CEO and founder, and there is an update at AzureStandard.com as to how they're doing. There's going to be a court discussion on May 17th And you have until May 17th really to bomb them over the phone, bomb them with emails, and let them know that you won't stand for this, because this is going to take away your food options. Then they're going to potentially have a court decision on the 22nd of May. So but their discussion is going to be reopened on the 17th. So basically you have 2 days to just completely bomb them. And I'll be honest with you, I even looked into it a little bit further. Due to NAFTA and several other laws that are available to corporations out there, it is a possibility for all the small farmers, all the vendors of Azure, as well as Azure, if they experience any profit loss, there can be a huge lawsuit to the county. Tobacco companies sue counties all the time for regulating things and downplaying cigarettes, things like that. There's been different, Monsanto sued a municipality in Mexico. This is a Monsanto created law, by the way, that can be turned around on them. They sued a municipality in Mexico because this municipality wanted to stop the dump of toxic chemicals. So because it created profit loss to that corporation, they were able to sue and win millions, if not billions. So I encourage anybody out there that's listening to this that may be a vendor for Azure, such as myself, start thinking that route, because if they want to push this and they want you to lose your business over it and they want to take away freedom of food choice, then let's play ball, because there is no other way to stop this than for people to get mobilized and for people to say we've had enough. And not only that, people, but you all need to understand that when there are no farmers, there is no food. I have done so many videos on the fact that there is less than 1% of our American working population in farming. That is an insane number. China has 33%. Russia has 12%. This is nuts. We should not have so few farmers. It ought to be sinking in. It ought to resonate with you that when the farmers go out, the food goes out as well. You think there's always going to be food coming from other countries? What if something happened and the truck doesn't get there, people? We have, for a civilized nation, we are on the bottom. I want you to go look this up. I don't have the link handy. I'll put it maybe in, I'll give it to Claire, but you can go to the CIA World Fact Book. And for a civilized nation, we are like 3rd or 4th from the bottom of all the nations in the world for the amount of population in food production. So, and they consider that fishing, farming, ranching, all of that. They combine it, forestry. So they really play up the numbers even to get that high. It's 0.07%. And that's working population. So if we included our entire population, if we included the elderly, if we included everyone under the age of 18 that doesn't have a job, we have only about 1/4% of our population farming. And we're going to put more out over a weed, whether it is dandelion or not. Does that really justify putting American farmers out, putting a whole bunch of small businesses out? Hardly.
Well, and besides, I thought you could eat dandelions. I may have seen that on your channel somewhere.
Absolutely, but then we need to take it back to, okay, what if it is dandelion? What if it is milk thistle? Does the county have the right to tell you what to do on your own property? Absolutely not. In fact, the county government was instituted basically to ensure the people's rights, so that the other outside governing authorities did not impose unjust laws or regulations on the people. But who knows this stuff anymore? Who's actually reading their documents?
So,
let me read you something.
Okay.
Government is instituted to protect property of every sort, as well that which lies in various rights of individuals, as that which the term particularly expresses. This being the end of government, that alone is a just government which impartially secures to every man whatever is his own. James Madison, 1792. If we don't understand why our country was even created, it was because of problems like this. But you want to talk about no farmers, no food. Think about that, folks. About 1/4% of our population in farming. Do you know who is equal to that? Monaco. which is like 23 square miles.
So basically, for those who are jumping into the chat, please go over to Azure Standard. The links are coming through. Claire's been posting them, and read for yourself. You know, we're basically trumpeting what's going on because it's going to make a huge impact for everybody. And this is just the kind of thing that just slips through, and nobody realizes it until all of a sudden food prices go up, or you don't have the options you did. And so read up on it. And please, if it's something that's getting under your skin like it is with me, at least make a few phone calls, at least send 10 emails. That can't take but 5 minutes, you know. Send them 10 emails. It'll take you 5 minutes, and then we can be part of the solution instead of just going, whoa, what can I do? And I want to go back because I want to hit this again later so that folks coming on later can hear from the beginning. But you mentioned something earlier about Monsanto created laws. Now, I know what Monsanto does to people. I've seen some documentaries on how they will force farmers to buy their own seed, and the way that their seed only works with Roundup. So you got to buy the chemicals from Roundup or else it doesn't grow anything. And it's basically really, really bad. But please explain when you were saying a Monsanto created law. What do you mean by that?
Okay, well, basically NAFTA. It was Monsanto. It was headed up. You've got a revolving door at the top of our government. So the same people that are working for the FDA actually work for Monsanto. So they'll switch every couple of years. There'll be a head operating whatever in the structure, the head structure of Monsanto, and then they'll flip over and work for the FDA for a while. And the lawyers and attorneys that draw up these laws are also have been on the payroll for Monsanto as a company. So when NAFTA and CAFTA were created, a lot of the same people had their hands in creating those documents. So one of the things in there would be that the corporations could sue municipalities for profit loss. So basically, they put that in there. They had that put in there for a reason, because people were sick of the chemicals doing things to areas, that would cause cancer or leave lasting effects upon their children and grandchildren.
Wow. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would like to read one more thing.
Yes, ma'am.
The moment the idea is admitted into society that property is not as sacred as the laws of God, and that there is not a force of law and public justice to protect it, anarchy and tyranny commences. And that is John Adams. So we have given up the idea that property rights ought to be protected and kept just as sacred as God's law. Why? Because someone wants to make a whiny claim about a weed. We listen to every single excuse known to man. It's just ridiculous.
Well,
and it's not about a weed.
You're preaching one of the things that has bothered me so badly. And when you chat with people, they don't really believe it until they kind of go, huh, scratch their head. And that is this, that if you live in the United States, you cannot be a property owner, truthfully. Because let's say you get, buy a house, you pay off your mortgage, you 30 years and you got it. And well, what happens if you don't pay your taxes on that piece of property? They take it away. So in effect, you're always renting. You're always renting, no matter what. Now, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Here's one more that I want to go over. And good intentions, such as environmental groups or the weed or whatever it is. Listen to this. Good intentions will always be pleaded for every assumption of authority. It is hardly too strong to say that the Constitution was made to guard the people against the dangers of good intentions. Daniel Webster. So when you talk about authority and what its rightful duty is, and then you want to cry whatever the thing is, you have to remember that we are just giving our country away. We're giving our choices away, our rights away, all for good intentions. Or we sit back and we allow it to happen, even though we know in our hearts it's not right. I couldn't live with myself. I could not do it.
Well, and not to mention, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but this is going to send ripple effects through all of the markets that we purchase and consume food with, health products. You have a business where you sell essential oils, and it's gonna be huge if they get away with this, and so we can't let them get away with this.
Right. They just picked up more of my things. A lot of my products are made by hand with natural and organic ingredients from my homestead. Our essential oils are lab tested. They're top of the line. And they actually contacted me and said, Melissa, we have customers asking for more of your stuff. I mean, this would hurt my business. This would put a lot of small family businesses out. It's going to hurt, like I said, tons of organic farmers that you cannot. Let's go into this. It is almost impossible to get your products, if you're a genuine small business, into a large corporation. I have had my products in Tractor Supply stores, and it was insane. I had to actually fight to get them to pay me. They come up with every excuse under the sun to rip you off, that you have to jump through so many hoops that you cannot even afford to put your product on their shelf. That's normal corporate America. So Azure will work with you. They're small business friendly. And so this is going to essentially put all those small businesses, all those organic farmers, it's going to put them out because they cannot compete to get their stuff in the stores. And that's what this is about, putting them out, putting all the small guys out.
Well, and don't kid yourself that if they get away with it there, like I said earlier, once a standard is set, they will repeat it and repeat it and repeat it until you have no more mom and pops, until you have no more food producers who can actually compete with a company that's a big company. They just won't be able to do it. And so for you guys in the chat, please share this video. When this is done, since this is a live video, it'll take a few minutes for it to process, but please put it out to everybody you know on Facebook, everybody on YouTube. Hit all of your sites and share the phone numbers and share the emails. I'm seeing that Sherman County via email is someone named Hernandez. Poor Hernandez is going to get about 1 billion emails, and we need to keep doing it until they back off.
Yes.
So
right. And I'm sorry. I just want to read this real quick so that we can put things into perspective. It has never been the county's job to play groundkeeper or to tell someone what they can or cannot do on their property. You want to say it's a weed, whatever. Somebody else might call it dinner. However, this is out of the Declaration of Independence. When they were complaining about what King George was doing, one of the complaints within the document states he has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. And you need to understand that there is a movement in this country of new offices that have been created to basically harass people and eat out their substance. This is going to put someone out of business. They are being harassed by the county over a weed. My God, that means they can now tell you you can't grow oak trees or you must plant azaleas. This is a new office. This is not something that is even needed. My God, who's paying these people?
Yeah, and who gave them the authority?
Exactly.
I guess it was us by not doing anything about it.
Right. Or the people of that area that think that that's a worthy job. My God, I wouldn't pay somebody to go around and be groundskeeper. That's not anybody's business, and it certainly isn't legal. It's not a legal. It's a new office. It is not a legal entity. It is not the job of the county or any form of government to tell you what you can and cannot do on your property. Never has been.
Yeah, I agree. And for those of you guys who are watching this live, please don't forget, when it's done, share it, get it out there. We need to flood these people so that this can just be stopped. But for those of you who are watching and do not know Melissa here at the Homestead Mama, she is what I like to call a spitfire. I love her content. She's wicked smart when it comes to all kinds of herbal remedies and all kinds of neat stuff. And if you're not a subscriber, you need to look up Homestead Mama, and it's MOMA, because every time I watch her, Scouts on her, every time I watch her, I learn like 5 things. I'm like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Thank you.
And so, but share the love and go on over and sub. That sounds pretty good. Share the love and go and sub. But before we share the love and go and sub. But before we say see you later, I'm going to try and find some questions in here. But please recap just another brief recap of what's happening to them for those who came in a little bit late.
Okay, so there's Azure Standard, which is the largest independent distributor of organic foods across the nation. They are being attacked supposedly for a weed on their property. There's going to be a court discussion on May 17th, so you have 2 days only to get your word out. Then there could be even a decision on May 22nd as to whether or not this organic farm, 2,000 acres, should be sprayed with Roundup. Of course, they will lose their organic certification, and then, of course, they will go out of business. They also do employ people of the area. They put out $6 million worth of employment to the county of Sherman there in Oregon. They also employ tons of mom and pop small businesses and organic producers across the nation. And they, again, distribute all those foods through a co-op. So you go in, you buy once a month, and a truck delivers to your area. So this is just basically going to take freedom of food choice off the shelf. You will have no choice but to go to your regular grocery store. All those people that have children with food allergies that look for special items, all those people who want to employ small farmers, all those people out in Montana that grow the wheat without this use of Roundup and have a source to get it out to the public, gone. Those farmers will go out. Your food choice will be wiped away. It's just insane.
I agree, and I can't add any more to that. We've got to do something about it, guys. And I'm seeing in the chat that a lot of people are emailing, and I would encourage too a letter. A physical thing is a lot harder to get rid of than clicking delete on an email. But they need to hear our voice. Please call just throughout the day. Do it, and that way at least we can say we had a part in it, and we fought with what we have at our disposal, which our tools are. And so
Rage against the machine, right, Brad?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Thank you so much to everybody who is putting something out there. Just thank you.
And when this video is done, I'll make sure the links are in the description. So come on back when you're going to share it, and let's do something about this. All right, people.
Yes,
Okay.
and thank you to everybody who's watching. Please do share on Facebook, share on Twitter, share on whatever accounts you have.
Amen. All right, Homestead Mama, Melissa, thank you so much for sharing your time and your information. And doggone it, we've been sitting back just watching government roll over us far too long. And it's time for us to push back.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
Okay, guys.
Thank you.
Have a great afternoon.